The title of this presentation is Assessment of Reading Comprehension. Reading comprehension is the understanding and interpretation of what is read. To be able to understand written material, children need to be able to 1. Decode what they read, 2. Make connections between what they read and what they already know, and 3. Think deeply about what they have read. Assessment is an integral part of instruction. Assessment serves as a systematic basis for making inferences about the learning and development of students. It is the process of defining, selecting, designing, collecting, analyzing, interpreting, and using information to increase students' learning and development. As literacy teachers, 3 forms of assessment are featured heavily across our routines: screening, progress monitoring, and diagnostic assessments. Screening assessments are used on a universal level, meaning that all members of a specific grade level participate in the screening assessment for the purpose of comparing results against benchmark performance levels. The resulting data allow teachers to make decisions about which students are performing below expected levels and consequently need more intensive interventions and supports, which students are performing near or at expected levels, who in turn seem to benefit from standard practice instruction, and which students are performing above expected levels and may need more enrichment or extensions. The MAISE is a reading curriculum-based measure, CBM, used as a benchmark assessment of reading comprehension. Close assessments are constructed using passages of text where random words are deleted and replaced with a blank space. The reader is tasked with silently reading the passage and supplying a missing word in the blank. The MAISE is a modified closed passage that is formed by keeping the first sentence of the passage intact. Every 7th word thereafter is deleted and replaced with a parenthetical offering of 3 choices of replacement words. The reader is tasked with silently reading the passage and circling the correct replacement. To complete the task, the student must decode, apply background knowledge, and make use of syntactic, semantic, and phonetic cues from the text. The assessments are scored by reporting the number of correct replacements, also referred to as replacements correct. RC is the abbreviation for that score. This slide shows examples of 2 different closed passages. When using the MAISE assessment as a reading curriculum-based measure, scores can be interpreted using norm-referenced data sets. For example, the benchmark score for a 5th grade student at the end of the school year is 24 correct replacements. This is the score that equates with the score earned by 50% of same-age peers, or is the score at the 50th percentile. In addition to using MAISE assessments as a universal screener, teachers can use the same assessments on a more frequent administration schedule for the purpose of progress monitoring. A typical progress monitoring schedule would involve administering the MAISE assessment once every 2 weeks, using a different assessment probe each time. For students who participate in intensive interventions or specially designed instruction to support reading comprehension, the MAISE assessment is often used as a progress monitoring tool. To set a target or goal score for a student, we should set the bar high. Start with a growth rate of 0.85 replacements correct, RC in this case, and multiply this number by the number of instructional weeks that the intervention would last. In a typical school year, there are 36 weeks. So if we're setting the goal for the whole school year, we would calculate 36 multiplied by 0.85 to yield 30.6. We will add to this value the median baseline score. Let's say our pseudo student hypothetically scored 15, 19, and 17 RC replacements correct across 3 baseline maze assessments. The median value is 17 RC. So the end of the year goal in this case is 47.6 replacements correct. Try it now using the 5th grade ambitious growth rate of 0.85 RC. Figure out the 30-week goal for Jamal. I'm going to read a goal that includes the score of 38.5 RC. Is that what you got for your goal for Jamal? I've selected a 30-week period to begin in September of 2022. That would be the hypothetical start date of Jamal's 5th grade year. Because it's a 30-week goal, I've set the end date as May of 2023. I've selected a relevant standard for Jamal's instruction to align with. It's the Common Core State Standard English Language Arts under Literacy, Reading Information, Standard 5.10. I've specified skills that he needs to build in order to comprehend text based on hypothetical diagnostic assessment data. The skills are annotating text to keep track of meanings so that he can paraphrase and summarize text. I have also selected a relevant instructional method to use during the 30-week intervention period. The method is called RAP, R-A-P, Read, Ask, Paraphrase. The goal that I've crafted for Jamal, including a condition, learner, behavior, criterion, sounds like this. By May 5th of 2023, Jamal will make progress toward reading and comprehending a broad range of informational text by making text annotations that support paraphrasing and summarizing in order to achieve a score of 38.5 replacements correct on a maze assessment. In the example goal that I provided for Jamal, I mentioned using hypothetical data to figure out the specific skills to build and potential instructional methods that could serve to meet Jamal's needs. In real life, how can we acquire this type of data about our developing readers, writers, and thinkers? Diagnostic assessments are the best tool for the job. Reading comprehension is complex and multifaceted. There are many reasons that breakdowns happen in the meaning-making process. For example, some students may have difficulty decoding, have differences in their vocabulary and background knowledge. Therefore, it is important to know what supports a student needs before deciding which strategies to use. The category of diagnostic assessments is quite broad. To generate a profile of strengths and needs for a reader, one means of assessing takes the form of a standardized test. These should be used in conjunction with reading curriculum-based measures like the maze. Here are some examples of standardized tests with which you may have some familiarity. The Wechsler Individual Achievement Test, also known as the Wyatt, the Woodcock-Johnson, the Gray Oral Reading Test. There are numerous others available. Be a savvy consumer and hold to principles of high reliability and high validity when selecting a standardized assessment to use. Since comprehension requires a complex interplay of different skills, we need to find out which skills the student needs the greatest support with. A wide range of options can be used for the purpose of diagnosing strengths and needs. Some examples include measures of reading fluency, like the DIBELS, performance-based measures of literal and inferential comprehension, such as curriculum-based assessments, CBA, that involve question answering or passage retell. On the next few slides, we'll explore more informal diagnostic assessment tools. First, we can assess comprehension of imaginative or literary text by using comprehension questions based on story grammar. Story grammar refers to the structure of a story that includes elements like character, setting, problem, solution. In addition to posing questions, students can fill out a story map during reading. Then they can use their story map to retell the story. This can be scored in various ways. Number of elements named, number of prompts needed to generate ideas to plot on the story map, number of ideas retold out of number possible ideas to retell. Main idea questions can be posed to assess understanding of informational or expository text. Students can read an independent level text that is one in which approximately no more than 1 in 10 words is difficult for the reader. Then state or write the answers to comprehension questions. The retelling option here applies as well. Depending on the structure of the text, the student should retell the passage using signal words to demonstrate understanding. For example, if it's a cause-effect passage, you might want causal signal words to show up in the retell, whether oral or written. One final method for diagnostic assessment can be used on an ongoing basis to guide instruction. This method is called a think along or think aloud. The purpose is to catch a glimpse of the metacognitive strategies the reader is using. Metacognitive strategies is a term that refers to the methods used to help students understand the way they learn. In other words, it means processes designed for students to think about their thinking. To conduct this assessment, select a text that is of interest to the reader and that they are likely to have success decoding. For example, approximately 95% word reading accuracy or greater. That would mean it's an independent level text. Then select stopping points where you will have the student voice their thoughts about what they just read. Offer questions or sentence frames as a scaffold here. The main point is to gain insight into whether the student can identify the main idea. So your question could be, what is the story mostly about? Also gaining insight into whether the student can predict and confirm, make inferences, and summarize what they have read. To sum up this presentation, Maze assessments can be used for universal screening. Maze assessments can also be used in an ongoing fashion for progress monitoring, a way to decide whether to adjust instruction so that the student can stay on track toward reaching ambitious goals. Diagnostic assessment data should come from multiple sources: a records review, observation logs, interview data, norm reference tests, and curriculum-based measures, in order to create a profile of the reader's strengths and needs. The biggest takeaway is that assessment data should be used to inform instruction.